So what is confidence anyway? People may say it's trusting your abilities, trusting in your judgment, and just believing in your decisions. As I feel like I haven't always been as confident as I am today, I believe it is very much a work in progress for the rest of your life. I feel like as a kid, let's say for my teens, I was a very confident child, but I was also quite reserved in demeanor, but I was a confident child. I would say what I thought. I would always respect adults. It was a very strong notion for me as a kid to always respect my elders. And into my teens, that did continue. I felt like in my teens, let's say 12, 13, I was a little bit less confident. You start a new school, secondary school, your environment's different. You're a little bit like a fish out of water, essentially. But then I felt like as I started to approach like maybe 13, 14, 15, 16 is when I started to feel a bit more comfortable in my skin. And that could be for many reasons. Was doing well at school. My body started to become a little bit more developed. It started transitioning from a boy into a teenager, young man. That also made me feel good about myself. I got a bit more attention. And then in my 20s, I'd say that carried on into my 20s, but I feel like I lost a little bit of confidence in my 20s, my early 20s. It was almost as if I was judging myself by external values, I should say. Whether that be job, salary, body build, clothes, ability to speak to people without stuttering. I also used to stutter quite a lot as a child. So that can also play a part in how confident you may come across and how confident you feel in yourself. And then let's step into my 30s, where I'm at now. I feel the most confident I've ever felt in my whole life. But saying that, I still feel as though I can be more confident when certain situations arise. But I feel very sure of myself. I feel like I can say what's on my mind without having fear of what the other person's gonna think or may say back. And it's taken a very long time for me to get to where I'm at now. But I want that to transition into every situation in my life. So, 10 steps to building your confidence at any age. Step 1, I would say think about all of the strengths that you currently have. Think about things that people have complimented you on about how you come across. Things that you do in your day-to-day that people always compliment you on. For me, it could be my memory. I've always been told I have a very good memory. So I know if someone was to ask me a question on something, a situation that's happened, I know that because I've been told so frequently that my memory is very good, I can recite what has happened and trust in myself that what I'm saying is factual, always as close to the truth as possible. Think about how you are as a person. Do you treat people well? Are you kind? Are you welcoming as a person? Do you make people feel at ease when they speak to you? Those are all strengths. They may not be very in your face, confident attributes, but those are very positive attributes and traits, character traits, that you should really think about when you step into any situation, who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. Step 2, the power of affirmations. Often when I'm feeling quite nervous about something, I tell myself about all of the positives that can come from stepping into that situation. I tell myself how great the experience is going to be rather than how dreadful it's going to be. Those affirmations that you tell yourself are so powerful. How you speak to yourself. And that may sound a bit crazy, but we all have an internal dialogue that goes on in our head. There was times when I'd make a mistake and I would say to myself, oh, James, you fucking idiot. And I would do that so often, to the point where one time my sister said, "You don't need to speak to yourself like that." And I realized me talking down to myself every time I made a mistake wasn't really helping me. So talk to yourself as if you was talking to a very good friend, and hopefully you would have talked to a very good friend in that manner. Step 3, set yourself small, achievable goals to help build up your confidence. One thing for me, circa 2015, I would really hesitate doing things by myself, whether that would be going to the cinema, going to a restaurant by myself, traveling by myself. I'd really steer away from doing that until 2018. Well, 2015 was when I was able to actually go to restaurants by myself, because I thought we all need to eat. Someone seeing me in a restaurant by myself shouldn't make me feel like I shouldn't be there, or shouldn't make me feel nervous of doing that. We all need to eat. Granted, we may not always have people to eat with. I actually live by myself, so most of the time I'm eating by myself anyway. So I quickly dispelled that feeling of feeling shy of going to a restaurant by myself about over 10 years ago. 2018, I had plans with someone who I was dating at the time to go to LA in 2018, and we broke up beginning of that year. But I thought to myself, I still want to go to LA, so what's stopping me? The fact that I'm now single? That's not good enough. So that September, I remember I went to New York to visit my sister for a week, and then after that week, I took a flight to LA. I didn't know anyone out there, and I remember being driven to the airport, and my brother-in-law at the time was saying to me, "So, do you know anyone in LA?" I was like, "Nope." He went, "So have you been to LA before?" I was like, "Nope, first time. Can't wait to see what it has in store for me." And he was so shocked that I was going to a country, well, another state by myself. But as much anxiety I had around going by myself, I was also quite excited at the same time. I had the most amazing time you can think of for the 8 days that I was there. I met such incredible people that I would have never imagined I would have met traveling by myself. So set those small goals, small achievable goals. And I came back feeling like I could do anything. I came back feeling just so self-assured in who I am as a person and as an individual. So yeah, scared to take the trip by yourself? Take it. Scared to go to the cinema by yourself? Just go. It's dark in there anyway. Scared to go and eat by yourself? You need to eat. Everyone needs to eat. Step 4, embrace those failures. The most successful people we know have been through dozens of failures in their time to get to where they are. And we see them and we see the finished product of someone who's so confident and successful. We think, wow, they make it look so easy. But I guarantee you, if they was to tell you what they went through to get to that stage, many people would probably think, ugh, I don't want to go through all of that. So start things new. Start your YouTube vlog. Who cares who sees it? Start the YouTube vlog. Start your business. Post more on social media if you think that would help you. And when you do make mistake, when things don't turn out how you wish they would have turned out, what can you learn from that? I mean, I always say to myself, knowledge is power. So if something hasn't quite worked how I wanted it to work, I need to go back to the drawing board and think, okay, what could I have done differently? My video prior to this, quite an emotional video, didn't get as many views as I thought it was going to get. But I now need to think about what could I do differently for my next couple of videos in order to increase that outreach. And it's fine when things don't go to plan. Yeah, it is disheartening. It can make you feel like you want to stop, but think about the long-term goal. Think about how good you will feel about yourself once you've figured out where you went wrong and how you can overcome that. Step 5, body language. When you go into a room, when you go into a meeting at work, be very mindful about what your body language is communicating. We can always articulate things through words, but our body language actually says the things that we don't. So for this video in particular about confidence, how to build confidence, I consciously thought I'm gonna sit in my armchair because it's open. I can't be crouched over. My body language is open. My torso is open. There's nothing concealing me at all. And you can see my hands, you can see my gestures. Always try to be open when you want to come across as confident. Sitting with your arms crossed, sometimes for some people it is a habit, but it can really translate to the other person that you're guarded or that you're concealing something and that you don't trust them. Often, there's been times when I've gone to Reiki and I was told that if I ever feel threatened in a situation, is to cover my stomach. It's like to do like the root chakras, and if you know anything about any of that stuff, it's to cover my stomach. But when you go into a situation open, you're telling that person that you're here to listen to them, you're open to hear what they have to say. And in addition to that, you're telling them that you're not afraid about where the conversation can go. Eye contact. For some people, it is very awkward to make eye contact when speaking to people. Granted, I'm one of those people that it does feel awkward to, but I've noticed that looking away and making eye contact from time to time does help. And it lets the person know that what you're saying has intention behind it. It lets them know that you are listening to what they have to say back. But it lets them know that you're here. You're not anywhere else. You're here and you're ready to hear what they have to say. That does come across very confident, whether it be in a workplace, in a dating situation. It lets the person know that you're present, and being present shows that you're confident. Step 6. Overcoming fear and anxiety. Someone who has suffered with anxiety pretty bad in the past, that's something that I've had to really teach myself on overcoming. And like I said in the previous step, what can really help is tricking your mind that you're not fearful, tricking your mind that you're actually really excited. They all kind of come from the same place of your heart beating faster, adrenaline running through the body. But if you trick yourself, and it is kind of quote unquote fake it until you make it, but you're really telling yourself that rather than you're scared to speak in front of 400 people in a room, you're actually really excited and you can't wait to do it, because you can't wait to be in front of people. You can't wait to share the knowledge that you have. And you can't wait to make connections, rather than you're fearful of stuttering over your words. You're scared that people aren't going to be listening to you. They're going to be on their phone while you're speaking. You're scared that your mind's going to go blank. Put all that aside. Stop thinking about the negative things that can happen and think about the positive things that can happen, and be excited to take on all of those positive things that could happen, because they can happen. Step 7. Think about people who you admire. You see how they walk through the world and through situations confidently, with their head held high, not afraid to speak to anyone in the room, and just admire them. Kind of see them as a role model of how you would like to be. There's a percentage of ourselves that we would never be able to observe. But if we can observe people who are, well, who we perceive to be more confident than ourselves, there's a lot that we can learn from that. For myself, I remember seeing how my dad would enter certain situations very strongly and very firm. And I remember thinking, when I grow up, that's something I want to emulate. Looking at my sisters being women, but being so confident in what they believe in, it kind of made me think, oh, I'm a man. I can be just as confident as them if I want to, once I've got the credentials to build it up. So look at people who you admire, see how they move through situations, and think about things that you can emulate, whether it be their gestures, whether it be their level of eye contact, whether it be how they listen intently to what other people have to say, and think about how you can adopt those traits for yourself to work in your favor. And then in addition to that, I would say step 8, surround yourself with positive people. I can't stress that enough. Surround yourself with positive people who are going to lift you up when you are succeeding. People are going to celebrate your wins. People who are going to cheer you on when you do feel nervous or anxious stepping into a new situation or going to a new job. It's so important. They say the energies that we have, they're so contagious, because if someone's not going to be happy for you, that's coming from their own insecurity. That's not going to build up your confidence. So admittedly, we all do have an element of insecurity, but it's how it's expressed. Some people tend to project it. Try to stay away from those people when you're on your journey of building your own confidence. That would help you massively. I've had to let go of friends because they weren't happy for me. They never celebrated my wins. I would tell them good news and they would go from having a smile to having a frown, almost as if they were unhappy that I'm doing well. And those sort of characters, whether they know what they're doing or not, you being close to them isn't helping you build up your confidence and self-esteem. Step 9, treat yourself well. Go to bed early so you don't feel tired in the morning. Eat well. What you put into your body really does affect how you think. I've learned that as I've gotten older. As in my teens, I was able to get away with eating like Sam's chicken every day, 2 for 2. If any of you are old enough to remember 2 for 2 deals at Sam's Chicken. Cookies and Skittles during lunchtime. And that would be on a daily basis. I'm not saying having those foods once a week is terrible for you, but think about what you're putting into your body and how that's making you feel. Equally, exercise. And when you're exercising, you're going to need to fuel your body with the right nutrition. So keep yourself hydrated and sleep well. You'll be surprised what that does for your confidence as a person. If you're anything like me, eating too much greasy, fatty foods, my skin breaks out. It's not a good look. And in addition to that, your self-presentation. So there are many things that you could do for yourself that can make you feel good about yourself, that can make you really just step into situations feeling good about how you're coming across, your overall presentation. It may be at work. It might be first, second date with someone who you're really interested in. It might be a networking event where you're going to meet people who you've never seen before. Wear something that makes you feel good about yourself. Often at work, in my corporate job, when I have to present in front of a load of people, I like to wear a blazer. I can typically wear smart casual to work, but there's something about when I put on a blazer, I just feel like bossy. I feel like confident in what I have to say. So those small things can really help you. It might be making sure you have a nice fresh cut before a special event, making sure your hair's styled. For anyone, ladies or gentlemen, making sure that your makeup's applied well. Do things that make you feel good about how you're going to come across, because before you open your mouth, the first thing people are going to see is your appearance. But if you feel good about your appearance, if you know within yourself you look good, their opinion doesn't really matter. Last but not least, step 10, celebrate your progress, celebrate your wins. Even if it's, well, I feel like I've done really well this month. Let me take myself out to dinner. Let me buy that takeaway. Let me buy those shoes. Let me buy those trainers/sneakers. Do things that celebrate your wins, because the more you do that, the more you're fueling yourself, and in a sense, you're bigging yourself up. And if you can't big yourself up, don't expect other people to do that for you, because sometimes they may do that, sometimes they may not do that. People have so much that go on a day-to-day basis that unfortunately they may not always be able to show up for you how you'd like for them to show up for you. Make sure you can show up for yourself. That way you don't need that external validation to feel good about your wins. And that's another level of confidence that is very powerful, not needing external validation for yourself or for your wins. So, covered 10 steps. What I just want to leave you with is confidence may go up and down throughout life, depending on what you're going through, depending on the situation that you've been put in. But just know that situations that you've been in before and you're stepping into it the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, you're going to be a lot more confident than you were the first time. So try your best to throw yourself in those situations, even if it does make you feel scared. Visualize the type of person, the level of confidence that you want to have in the next 6 months, and write down the steps today about what you're going to do to get to that level of confidence. We're all in this journey together, trust me. We're all very much a work in progress. So I'm wishing you well on your journey. Try to journal it if it helps, so you can reflect back and be like, oh wow, last year I couldn't even get on a flight by myself. Last year I wouldn't dare go to the cinema by myself. Last year I would never walk into a group of 4 people having a conversation and introduce myself. Think about all of those things that you can achieve, and think about how it could manifest in other ways of your life. If you haven't been here before, this is James Off the Cuff. Feel free to subscribe and just join me here every week, just talking about regular things to help you in your day-to-day, and things that would help me also. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll speak soon. Bye.